welcome into Gamesthetic episode 79. My name is Alex Light with Sparky3. Hopefully you're having a phenomenal day, whatever day you were listening or perhaps watching this podcast on YouTube channel, youtube.com/Sparky3. Make sure you give us a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and be a friend, tell a friend. As always, the boys are with me. I got Zach in studio, John over Discord. Boys, how you doing? How you feeling today?
I'm doing good. Can't complain. Everything's going good. Been an interesting week.
That is what definitely. It's been an interesting couple weeks. There's obviously unplanned break last week. Just kind of came out of the blue. So yeah, definitely been an interesting week or two here. John, what about you? How are you feeling? How's it going, man? Just saw you earlier.
Yeah, feeling pretty good. You guys made me hop off Lost Ark, so guess I'm here to do the show now.
We basically twist his arm and just make him get off like once a week. Like, come on, do the show.
There's a reason why he's not on the couch as often now.
Yeah, it's just like, I'm just gonna stay at Discord. You know, sorry, I got too involved with some Lost Ark stuff. But like I said, since we took the unplanned break last week, we do got some extra topics for this week with the Nvidia leak. We're going to touch on that because that still continues to prove to be the biggest leak in gaming history. I mean, from the original big, humongous database leak that we saw, and now what just popped out recently with basically confirming the Switch 2, which Nintendo already confirmed they were working on the new console, but this further gives us more details about what to potentially expect for it. All of us have been playing Triangle Strategy, so we're going to chat about that. Sony State of Play this week, primarily focused on Japanese publishers. And then we also got some stuff with Xbox and a lot of delays, though. Got a lot of delays today that we're going to chat about. So if you could, go check out the website. We'd definitely appreciate that. You can sign up for free at sparky3.com, as well as go check out the merch store, sparky3shop.com, which we do have a promo code AniMan for 25% off until March 19th, because AniMan did come back after a 5-week break, came back with a banger of an episode. Zach and I did a phenomenal episode, in my opinion. That was one of my favorite episodes we've done in a while.
How long did that episode end up being?
Like an hour and 20, maybe hour and 30, hour and 20, hour 30 range.
Okay, I just know when we record, our time's a bit longer than what it actually is.
Yeah, no, that was a great episode. Definitely go listen to that. The episode, of course, is what makes an anime or manga good and worth rewatching. So that was a very good conversation. You know, I told Diaz that was what we did this week, and he just like sent me like a flurry of messages. He's like, damn it, I should have been on that one. I'm sorry, I let you down. Because he was going on. It's like, dude, I had so many great ideas for that. I'm like, bro, I hit you up like 2 weeks ago. Like, hey, this is probably what we're going to do. He's like, damn, I'm sorry, man. I let you down. I should have been on there.
Oh, well.
Yeah, and also make sure to join the Discord. Link down in the description below. And follow us over at Twitter, where you can stay up to date for those random breaks that we go on. Or you can sign up to the website. You know, we definitely appreciate the website sign up. You can also find out there when we go on these unplanned breaks. The Twitter is at Gamesthetic Pod. And then, of course, go check out the other shows, AniMan Plus, Terrible Football Show, and talk about movies and stuff. Last little plug here before we jump into everything is next week we are going on another break. This one was already a planned break, though. Shout to John. Birthday next week. Shout to John. Happy birthday. I've got a lot of shit I got to do at the house, and John's going to do his birthday stuff, and we're going to have a great time. And we'll be back the week after with Kirby, The Forgotten Land. We're going to chat about that.
God.
And maybe Tiny Tina, depending on if you boys want to get it. We'll see. It comes out. I don't know if you guys will get it, but
I mean, you and me will be fishing in Dreamland, so.
And going mouthful mode.
Yes.
Now, John, on the other hand, I don't know if he'll get Tiny Tina. If he does, cool, we'll chat about it. But if not, we at least got Kirby and whatever else pops out. Now, speaking of whatever else pops out, if a lot of crazy-ass shit pops out this week, we might still do an episode, and maybe like a shorter one or something, because I do have a lot of shit that I want to do with the other house, which, you know, little friendly FYI heads up with that. We will be getting our new studio here in the near future, so expect new backgrounds and everything. It's going to be great. So if there's a lot of crazy shit that pops out this week, we might do a short episode. We'll see. I don't know. Depends on our mood, I guess. But boys, what you guys have been up to this week? I know John's playing Lost Ark. John, you don't have to answer. Zach, what about you? Just Triangle Strategy?
TFT, then Triangle Strategy.
Playing some TFT? Okay, how's that going?
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I just run stupid teams.
Oh, okay.
He's not lying. I haven't played as much with him recently, but that's all he knows how to do.
Is play stupid teams. Hey,
Yep.
Man, you're just going in there for the fun. That's all that matters.
Pretty much. I mean,
yeah.
No, John, like actually earlier when I was playing a game, on the starting to creep rounds, first creep round gave me Gnar, Vex, and Lulu. And then Shop gave me Poppy and Ziggs.
Okay, well, yeah. There's some yordles.
I was just like, game, what are you doing?
Hello. For me, I've just been doing playing some Triangle Strategy. I've dropped about like 25 hours into the game, but I'm also continuing my my new Fire Emblem run that I'm doing at the moment.
Yeah, I saw that last night. I was like, he's on Fire Emblem?
Yeah, I started a new run like a week or two ago. This run's going to be very interesting because, I mean, once again, like I did have a
Are you
debate.
killing everybody?
No, not this time. Because I'm actually recruiting a lot of people, which I don't like to do because I don't like the house to feel like so like flooded, you know, in part 2. I really don't like that at all. But like there are actually a lot of people I'm going to recruit just because I really want to see all the different interactions with different characters, as well as get like some special like paralog missions. Because there's like one paralog mission in part 2 that involves Mercedes and Caspar, even though they have no fucking relations with each other like at all. They're not like friends or anything. They just happen to have a paralog mission because it's just like Mercedes like, you know, has these like suspicions about the Death Knight that it could be potentially her brother, which it is. And then Caspar's like, oh man, I used to train with Yritza all the time. I want to go. So just because of that, like those two random characters that have no like actual relations and friendship and shit have that paralog mission. I've never done it because I've never had them both in a house. So I was going to recruit both of them as well as a few other characters, mostly actually from the Black Eagles, even though I'm not a big Black Eagle fan. But there's a lot of...
The funny thing was when he was talking to me about this earlier, he was like, yeah, I'm doing my new Fire Emblem playthrough. I don't think I'm going to recruit a bunch of people this time. Actually, I'm recruiting everyone.
Yeah. yeah. Because originally I was just going to plan to like recruit like Petra because Petra's great and maybe one blue line. And that was all. Oh, hey, Kat. How's it going, Pixel? And that was really all I was going to do. But then I started looking at like all these different like story routes between characters and stuff and kind of reading a little bit about them, you know? And I'm just like, oh, that sounds really interesting. I was like, oh, that sounds cool too. Oh, that's cool too. And I'm like, well, fuck it. We'll recruit every single Black Eagle except for Ferdinand because fuck Ferdinand. I'm not a fan of him. I'm sorry, John. Sylvain's better, so I'll get Sylvain. We'll roll with that. It'll be a great time.
Unlikely.
Fuck off. I'll have a great time. But anything else, boys, you want to chat about before we jump into everything for the week?
Did you know there was Pokemon ASMR videos?
What?
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised either, but what exactly does that entail?
So think like VTubers, but just Pokemon instead.
It's like they're the noises they make?
Yeah.
Squirtle.
Pretty much. And it's just like a VTuber screen, but it's just the Pokemon instead of somebody hiding behind an anime waifu picture.
Squirtle. That's fucking weird. Where did you come across that?
It's a random article that popped up for me.
Oh, it was one of those random recommendations you get?
I just went...
Bro, you get random recommendations.
I get them in different languages.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you've shown me that too. You do. Man, your phone's on something else. Your phone is on something else.
Like, John, like after we went and saw Spider-Man, like the next day or two, I had a Japanese article with just William Dafoe's face with a giant grin.
Yeah. I mean... That seems like a good article.
Yeah, go ahead and give that one a click.
I don't know if this is complaining happening, but this just sounds great.
I mean, I enjoyed the picture, but then I went, I can't read the article.
It's like, why didn't you send it to me in English? Oh man. All right, let's jump into stuff. So we got multiple delays that we're going to chat about right off the get-go. So the first one, coming from Nintendo, Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp was delayed to an unspecified time due to current world events. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, the whole point of Advance Wars is blowing other people up in tanks. It feels kind of like a bad taste sort of move to release that right now.
Well, the real big thing with this, like literally the first game story is about a country invading a neighboring country.
Yep. See, I haven't played Advance Wars, but I at least know about it. So, like, you know, once I saw this delay, it's like I'm not really surprised. But what, you know, naturally, it's one, a Nintendo product, and two, you know, everyone is just stupid, and you know, everyone was very anti this decision. A lot of people were, and I'm just like, have you guys like gone out and touched grass recently? Do you know what's going on in the world besides a video game? Like, I don't know. I mean, I get it. It's not a big deal, honestly.
And if I really want to play them, I can go buy both of them for like $20.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's not a big deal, honestly. The next delay that we had, now this one was a moment of like, you know, sad gamer noises. As Forspoken was delayed to October, which, you know, I mean, that's sad. But at the same time, hey, you know, if it's going to polish up the game even more, cool. I'm here for that.
I still don't know what this game is.
I don't know either, but it looks cool.
Other than you just jumping around and slinging, I assume, some sort of magic at people.
Hey, sounds fun to me. I don't know.
Honestly, not not too upset with this delay here, mainly because I don't have as much plan to go to be playing in October.
Besides Gotham Knights.
Well, yeah, but this would be my other game to play. Which, I mean, right now I'm kind of stuck in on Lost Ark still. It's hard to pull away or get much else time in to play much else. So personally, I don't mind it too much.
Yeah, still not level 50.
How much do you even hop on
recently?
Yeah, how much do you even hop on?
I logged in like once this week.
Oh, okay. So John is just the front runner for the Lost Ark train right now.
Yeah.
Got it.
I mean, fun game. MMOs are still just dead to me.
Well, John was telling me a lot about some of the updates coming. John, you want to chat about that? I know you're pretty pumped up about a few. And some of the things that you were telling me does sound pretty cool.
Yeah, no, we got the first actual content patch, mostly geared towards high tier 3 players, for an abyssal raid, 8-man raid, on it. But I mean, you gotta be, I think it was either 1350 or 1370, to even do part 1, which I've been playing every day. I've got 350s, and I'm in tier 2, and right before we started I hit 926 or 923. So it's for free to play, take a while to get there unless you get extremely lucky on all your honings. But I mean, it's like high-end content, never really a bad thing. It'll be there when people get there. And then they had a roadmap that I saw an article that had the roadmap details out there, but they pulled it back to fine tune it some more for what they actually were going to end up releasing it, because people didn't seem too happy about the rate that new classes were going to be coming in. So we should be getting the official revamped roadmap coming soon.
Well, were they releasing a new class once every 6 months?
No, it was I think the initial article I read, I think one was April and then one was 3 months after that. But it's a combination of, it was going to be the Destroyer class and the Arcana class, which of the classes coming, I think are two classes that people are less excited for, but are probably the two that are most translated.
Gotcha.
But so I don't know. Maybe they're pulling back, looking at it, trying to find out if they can get it a little bit sooner, or figure out a way to deliver the information for people to take it a little more kindly.
Gotcha.
But, I mean, I'll keep playing. New class comes out, I'll give it a shot. I'm in no rush.
John's in here for the long haul.
Yeah, I'm still having a blast. I'm still hopping on. I mean,
right now for you, Lost Ark is what Final Fantasy is for Jimmy.
Yeah. No, I'm. I think, yeah, I'm at 130, 140 hours now.
Mm-hmm.
Which, granted, game's been out for a month. There's people with 2-3 times that amount, but for me, playing a game that much in a month is kind of a rarity.
I can feel that. I can feel that quite a bit. I relate to that statement. Is that, it is a rarity to dump that much hours into a game in a certain period of time. It really is. At least today. So I feel that. Back to the delay stuff, which I guess first we'll go ahead and mention since Zach did. We did have the confirmed release date for Gotham Knights, which struck against me. That was one of my predictions for this year, is that it would be delayed. So struck against me on that one. I am glad to see it's coming out this year, October 25th, confirmed release. I'm excited to play this. I am. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I think the article when I linked it in for the release date, I just happened to look at my phone and it popped up a notification for it. I was like, wait, that's not what I was expecting to read, but I'm totally okay with this.
Yep.
I mean, I'll be curious to play it. I mean, if it keeps the similar formula of Arkham games, the combat will be fun. I'll be curious to see what's changed, considering it's going to be, if I remember, at least a minimum of 2-person co-op. People are really hoping for 4, which would make sense considering, but we will find out.
Yeah, I think 4, like just based off everything they've shown so far, 4 both looks like it makes the most sense and looks like it could be the most fun.
Yeah, but I mean, out of actual gameplay video we've only ever seen a 2 at a time.
Yeah. Either way, that's gonna be a pretty dope game because all 3 of us are gonna be picking that up. Like I'm getting that day 1, so looking forward to it. But with the delay though, we did get a further delay for what John and I have been waiting on this whole damn time with Halo Infinite co-op. They did put out on Halo Waypoint involving the Season 2 that is set to arrive at the beginning of May. The co-op, campaign co-op was supposed to arrive with it. Right at the get-go, boom, here's campaign co-op. No, it's not going to come out right away, but it's still supposed to come out in Season 2, but it's supposed to come out later. And then 4 just, they didn't even really specify at this point. It could be Season 3 or beyond. Like, God knows when that's going to come in. Like, bro, this is literally what we're waiting on.
Yeah, I was going to say, at this point, I'm not going to be surprised when we see an article pop up saying co-op is delayed till Season 3.
Yeah. I won't be. I'm with you. I won't. And here's a question. Obviously, I'm not a game designer. I don't know everything that goes into it. But do you guys think that maybe the fact that they really wanted to push for this thing to also be on the Xbox One is causing a lot of problems with this fucking delay here?
Quite possibly.
Because that's what I personally think that it is. That this is on the Xbox One as well as the Series. I mean, if they would, I feel like, I don't know, just the gut feeling that if it would have been on Series only, like we probably would have already had this. That's just a guess. I don't know. What about you, John?
Yeah, I don't know. I've kind of been of the opinion that we're kind of at the point where, honestly, we've kind of been at the point, but understandably with like the console shortages, it's been a problem. But
yeah.
It's like there needs to be the cutoff point where like these developers just say, you know what, this is it. It's all new consoles from here.
Right.
And I don't know how long they're going to keep pushing back on this, because every time you kind of think, okay, well, surely now they're only making for new consoles. They always release more big titles on all the previous generations.
Yeah, and that's a great thing to shout out, because when it came to that Sony State of Play, every single one of these games was coming out on the PS5 and PS4. And a good decent amount of them, I'm not going to say all of them, were coming out in 2023. So, like, that kind of gives you a perspective on what John's saying there, where it's just like, when are we going to have that cutoff point?
I mean, Forspoken was PS5 only.
Yeah, that's one of the few. Like that and Returnal, Demon Souls, Ratchet, that's one of the few. Like, Sony is kind of, they're trying to find that cutoff point. But, we had Horizon on both. Unless they change their mind, God of War is going to be on both. Gran Turismo originally, once upon a time, was supposed to be PS5 only, and then they changed to PS5 and PS4. So I don't know. I don't know. At some point, we got to get the cutoff point for that. Next up, we got here. This is not a confirmed delay, but I mean, we've kind of touched on this a couple times, and like it's not really surprising. But Star Wars Eclipse, that game that was revealed at the Game Awards, that the concept for it sounds really interesting. The concept automatically kind of made me interested, even though I'm not a big Star Wars fan. But with it being made from Quantic Dream, we've talked about the issues that they've had, and apparently now that game has got a release window potentially of like 2027, 2028. Because of the amount of staffing issues that they have. They can't get people in there to work, and then their own personal
just like
problem.
2 people.
Yeah, like they have like 2 people there. That's it, man. Like an indie studio at this point. But bro, like, there comes a time, and we've seen it before, that you just announce a game a little too early. Like Metroid Prime 4, for example. That's a great example of you announced the game too early. Bayonetta 3 fell into that same category, where it was just announced way too early. Because I think both of those was actually released the Switch's release year. I think they were, because the Switch came out in May, and I think they both got released at E3 following. So, I mean, it's like 5 years later now, and it's like, oh, cool. Now we know when Bayonetta 3 is coming out. Metroid Prime 4. Granted, it had its, reset. Obviously, we don't know when that's coming out. But there is a point where it's like, all right, maybe you announced the game a little too early. With all these delays as well, sometimes delays are good for a game, polish things up, make it better. And, maybe that's something that should have happened with Babylon's Fall. Because the moment this game was revealed at E3 last year, everyone was like trashing this game that it just looked like complete garbage. And it had an absolutely terrible launch. Like at launch day, a max of 650 concurrent players on launch. Yikes.
What even is this game again?
It's a multiplayer game. I think that's one of the big like turnoffs for it.
Gotcha.
Like it's by the same developers as like Bayonetta and everything. What's that studio? I'm drawing a blank.
Isn't it Platinum Games?
Yes, thank you, Platinum. Like it's made by Platinum, and it's just like a heavy focused multiplayer game, and I think that's kind of the turnoff for it.
Yeah, I checked the Steam charts right before we joined, and I was looking at it here. The 24-hour peak is 606, and looks like currently playing at the time of recording this is 221.
Oh, oof. Jesus Christ.
That's rough.
Yeah, man, and Platinum was pushing this game like hardcore at E3 and stuff. Like they were really trying to throw this one out there. And I don't know, the main thing about it at E3 is like it looked just terrible. Like the gameplay was very stale, graphically was terrible. Like, just a lot of stuff this game, like very clearly it still needed to stay in the oven and cook a little bit longer. But alas, here we are with a 650 concurrent count. So just give it a couple of weeks. This thing will probably be on sale. So we do have an upcoming show that we're going to keep our eye on. A future game show, Spring Showcase, is on the 24th of this month. So that's like right before Kirby and Tiny Tina. So we're going to talk about on that episode. I'm excited for it. There was a pretty decent list of publishers. I don't remember all of them off the top of my head. I do know Sega's there, and I've seen a lot of rumors that Sonic Frontiers could be shown off first at this show, which I'm really excited for and also very nervous for. I'm immensely nervous for this game, but I'm trying to stay optimistic about it. But future game show, I am looking forward to seeing what's all going to come out, because they did confirm there's going to be like 8 to 10 world premieres, I think is what they said. So going to be curious to see what all they're going to be showing off here in just a few weeks. With that, let's go ahead and jump into some of our bigger topics for today. Kicking things off immediately, let's jump into another show, E3. We've talked about it at length about how E3 is dead at this point. They are still doing an online show this year.
I thought they canceled that.
To my understanding, they're still doing the online show, because I saw an article about that literally before we started recording.
Okay.
Yeah, from like VGC or something. So they're still doing an online event is the current plan. I just don't think they've officially announced it. But the big thing that came out literally today when we started to record is Xbox set to hold its own sort of E3 style showcase, right? Like a state of play, like a direct or whatever, before the E3 online show. But from what I'm understanding from like the other articles I was reading earlier is that Xbox does plan to be there at this E3 online show, as well as like Nintendo, Square, Capcom, a few others. Naturally, Sony will not be there. They've been out 3 or 4 years now. Yeah. They're perfectly cool doing their own thing. But the thing that's so interesting is the fact that Xbox is doing its own style show before E3. If that goes really well, which let's be real, it will go well, just like it's gone well for everyone else. Like, why is Xbox going to sit there and say, like, wow, our own personal showcase we did went absolutely fantastic. Why do we need to pay E3 millions of dollars to be on your show? You know what I mean?
Because Xbox can get more time to show it off twice.
I mean, they can, but like at the same time, it's just like, why? Like, yes, you can show it off twice, but they can also show it off on their own time for less money. You know what I mean? Like, I know they have tons of money. We saw that with Activision Blizzard, but it's still just like, if you can do it on your own, why spend money to do it there as well for a very clearly suffering show? If they want to do anything, at this point, I feel like Summer Game Fest is their better play if they're going to dish out the money to be on a show, right? Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, like, to me, like seeing this and already knowing that Sony does their own thing, Nintendo, they're a team player. They always do their Nintendo Directs at, E3 and stuff, but they have their established Nintendo Direct. Like, once Xbox does their thing and it does really well, like I feel like this is going to further set up that E3 is just like dead. Like, I mean, this online event, whatever they're doing, it's got to be an absolute hit, or like, I mean, it's done. I mean, I'm sure you guys agree with me, but is E3, is it just done? Is it completely a thing of the past? Like, is there any chance that it could come back in the? I mean, let me rephrase that. It'll probably continue to come back, right? But it's just gonna get worse and worse. Is there any chance that it could come back to any sort of standing of of decent shit in the future? What's you boys' thoughts on this whole thing?
I mean, at this current point in time, not really. It'll more or less be one of those events that it exists, we all acknowledge it and whatnot, and it's sort of a annual thing we watch and whatnot. But I don't think it will ever get back to the peak of what it was a couple years back.
I agree.
Yeah, no. If you kind of look at it, the big pillars of E3 used to be Sony, Microsoft, and their Xbox presentation, and then like Nintendo, and then it also everybody loved the Bethesda before that just got grouped in with Xbox. So with Sony gone, honestly, E3 has been mostly being carried by Microsoft, like having excellent presentations for the past few years.
True. Yes.
And then
Nintendo.
People always sticking around to see Nintendo's.
Yep.
Other than that, most people just kind of either skim through the presentations or just kind of don't, or they just read the articles after the fact. So if Xbox is gonna go on and do their own thing, I mean, what's left?
Not a lot. And it really doesn't help, especially with the last several years with the sort of fall of E3 of just some of the showcases that we have are just odd. Like this past year, Gearboxes was literally just a big promotion of their Borderlands movie. Yeah, we got some stuff, but it was like it was a really weird retro school project thing to show off in a themed fashion, and then it was just a bunch of behind the scenes Borderlands movie set stuff, and I'm just like,
yeah, but that's kind of been Gearbox's like go-to in the past few years. They've gotten weird with their presentations.
No one's gotten as weird as Devolver Digital.
That's true.
Devolver Digital takes the absolute weird, and like I don't know what the hell Devolver Digital's PR team does when E3 comes up and they're just like, we can do this. We got this. Because Devolver Digital is always a trip.
They just throw a bunch of ideas in a hat and start pulling them out. Pull 5 ideas out. That's what we're doing.
Like legitimately. They
swear.
literally Frankenstein monsters their shows every year.
It's a big fuck it mentality. Let's have a good time.
It really is. Yeah, no, it's just been sort of that weird thing of E3. We went from just very good press conferences and showing off games and whatnot to weird theatrical presentations, which a lot of people usually don't care about.
Yeah, and there is one that I want to mention, and we talked about this last summer, but like, even last year with Take-Two's, like, don't get me wrong, listen. What Take-Two, what they did, that is a very good thing to do. But at E3 is the beef that everyone has about it, because that was like an hour-plus long conference they did.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and don't get me wrong, what they did is great. Like, that's great. Let's bring more attention to it, and you're wanting to do it on the grandest stage of them all, in theory. I get it. I get the logic. But at the same time, it's like, it's E3. Like, I understand you want to put all eyes on that topic. It's a very important topic, but it's like, can you show some games? I'm sorry to be selfish, but can you show some games? And
the bad thing about that is just also the mentality of E3. This is where people go to expect to see game reveals and things like that. And if it was like a Take-Two specific community, I don't think it would have been as received as poorly as it was. But the fact that it was E3 community, not necessarily just Take-Two, was where a lot of the flame and stuff came from. Because, again, their conference they did, hats off to them for doing it when they did to really bring eyes to that topic. But at the same time, it was just a hard against the mentality of what E3 usually is.
Yeah. And ultimately, all it came down to is they just wanted to get all eyes on it as possible. I mean, they could have announced that sort of presentation like days before or whatever on their own like YouTube channel or whatever, a live stream, and did it there. And they probably was got a lot of people in there asking for GTA 6. But they still could have gotten a lot of views if they would have done it. But they were trying to maximize the views. But yeah, I mean, E3 is just kind of slowly like the last. I mean, it's very telling. We've had obviously a world pandemic going on, but the last like time that E3 really felt like up to stuff was the last E3 before the pandemic started, 2019. That one was an absolute banger of a conference. Like Xbox's was absolutely insane. But then everything after that, these online conferences that they're doing. 2020 was just canceled, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then so last year at their online one, I mean, really the only thing that showed up was Xbox. Really, Nintendo had a pretty solid one, but like Xbox showed up. Like that was like an hour and a half long of like a lot of good shit.
Yeah.
Everyone else there was I mean, I enjoyed Squares because it was focused on Guardians, and that game immediately interested me. But other than that, it's just like everything else was kind of lackluster. And I feel like once again, like with this just further puts the nail in the coffin. And for E3, where it's like, while I think E3 will come back like maybe next year, but it's the question is, will E3 come back next year and like maybe be like an in-person event at their normal venue that costs a stupid amount of money in LA, or would it maybe be at a different venue that might be a little bit cheaper? If that's the case, then that's kind of telling that, yeah, it's on its last legs. You know what I mean?
I was about to say this year's show will be very much the crux of this, of whether people will see whether E3 is going to be a standard thing that we're going to continue to see, or if it truly is more or less done.
Yeah.
Well, just last thing I wanted to say on it is, it's also telling that like E3 used to be the place where like you did your big world premiere. You did your big world premiere of your game that you want everybody to see. But for the past few years that we've had these shows, E3 has no longer really been the big reveal place. It's been Summer Games Fest.
Yep.
Summer
Game Fest or Game Awards. Shout out to Jeff, man.
Yeah.
He's got the connections.
Yeah, it's like it's really telling how these like companies have also said or realized like, yeah, E3 is kind of losing its name. Whereas everybody's kind of more interested in these, I don't want to say smaller shows, because the like Summer Games Fest and Game Awards are quickly overtaking what E3 has become.
I was about to say, I would say more like focused shows.
Yeah, the more focused shows is where, and it's weird that E3 is, like you guys were saying, always been the place for games, but now that's shifted to the Summer Games Fest, the Game Award show, and that's now people are like, if we're going to show something outside of our own conference, we might as well do it there.
True. Which is also very telling as well. I remember whenever we talked about E3, like the in-person event being canceled, I remember us talking about literally that day. Jeff put out a tweet saying Summer Games Fest was coming back this summer. Brilliant marketing, my friend.
I mean, E3 really hit its peak whenever friggin' one of the best things. I was at the Microsoft conference one year. I forget which game they were revealing. It was either, I think it was a Forza, and they also did the world reveal of a new car there too. They had they had the whole car, and everyone's just sort of like, yay,
cool, new car, yeah. All right, next up, we did have that Sony State of Play this week, primarily focused on Japanese publishers. It was like a 20-minute conference, I think is what it was.
Yeah.
There were some pretty interesting titles in there, like that new Exo Primal one. That was kind of interesting.
What was that?
Yeah, what the fuck was that, bro?
It started, and all I could think was, Dino Crisis?
Yeah, that's what a lot of people were saying.
2022?
Yeah, that's what a lot of people were saying. It's like, is this Dino Crisis?
And then
everyone's like, oh, this is Dino Crisis. Yeah, this is Dino Crisis. Exo Primal. What?
And then it was said Exo Primal. Well, it was going through, and the entire thing I was just like, this can't be Dino Crisis. Someone's trying to revive Anthem with dinosaurs.
God.
Because that's literally all I saw. Because they had the suit all of a sudden, and they had their types. They had the big wall tanks. They had the weird mages, the like gunners and stuff. And I was just like, who's working on this? I was just like, someone stole Anthem and added dinosaurs, and it's sort of working.
It's like it sort of looks cool. I'll say the game that caught my eye the most was that what was it called? The Diofield Chronicle, whatever. I think that's what it's called.
That caught a lot of people's.
Yeah, dude, that actually looked pretty sick.
That came out of nowhere. I'm very curious about that IP. What I was very surprised. I didn't realize Ghostwire Tokyo was first person.
Yeah.
I didn't either. I was watching the video for it to refresh myself on some of this beforehand, and I was watching. I'm like, wait a second, I don't remember this.
Yeah, the fact that Ghostwire is first person completely changes my perspective of the game, and I'm just all more like, now you have my attention, Ghostwire.
Okay, I just pulled back up the showcase, the recap here. Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin was also announced.
I'll be curious. I actually downloaded that on my PS4, so I wasn't big on Stranger of Paradise.
Oh yeah, you see down on the demo?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So now that there's a demo and I can mess with it, I'll be curious how it actually feels.
We also got another. I'm not gonna say another look. It might have been the first look. I remember the announcement for this game, that Gundam Evolution, that free to play game that's like Gundam Overwatch is essentially what it's
6v6 Gundams.
Yeah. I mean, it's Gundam Overwatch is literally what it is. I remember when that was announced, and I thought it looked really cool. And I actually enjoyed the gameplay on that, but that's one of those games where it's just like, that's not going to last a long time.
I mean, it might.
Like, that's a game that's going to hit a niche audience.
Yes.
For a short period of time.
Yes.
I could very much see it surviving just because of the Gundam community. I don't think it would be a big name.
No, it definitely won't.
But I could see it surviving through weird means.
We also got the Cowabunga collection.
I'm buying that.
Dude, that's actually a big list.
That's a very good collection.
That's actually a big list of games.
I was reading through the games and I went, this is actually pretty cool. I'm probably gonna get this.
I was about to say that is a very good collection with online play.
Yeah.
Yes.
When, did they have a release date on it? I forgot.
I don't remember.
Because I'm with you guys. That's a game that I might pick up.
I think it might
because that is a dope collection.
I think it might have mentioned something in summer, but I don't think it had a specific date.
I think my favorite thing about that game being announced was like everyone that like a lot of like the notable like people that I follow on Twitter that do like game videos and stuff. They're just like, oh man, Konami showed up. Konami's doing something, people. Holy shit! That was my favorite part about it. We also had the PS3 port of that JoJo fighting game that never came up. I didn't know it was a PS3 port. I never heard of it because Zach had to point out to me on AniMan that never came to the West is why it's now being ported. So like but hey, that's a beefy roster though, 50 plus JoJo fighters.
That's a ridiculous roster.
Yeah, that's actually pretty solid. That Trek to Yomi game, that's by Devolver. I remember when that was showed off last.
That actually looks really good.
Yeah, I remember when it was showed off last summer. I thought it looked pretty solid.
Which always makes me sad with Devolver Digital's shows because they always show good games, but I get no context.
Shows are weird.
I never get context because I'm distracted by why is this giant monster eating your head, CEO?
Right. An update for Returnal Ascension adds co-op mode, so that's pretty cool. And then of course the Diofield Chronicle. I'm actually really excited for that one. Like that like what Zach said, that actually caught a lot of people's eyes, and it definitely caught mine.
The one that really caught my mind was actually the last one that finished up was actually a new game in the Valkyrie series.
Yeah,
out of nowhere.
Yeah, Valkyrie Elysium.
I mean, I'll enjoy it. I'll probably pick it up at some point and play it after it comes out. Because, I mean, I enjoyed the Valkyrie games on PS2, and I touched on one during PS3 era. I can't remember what it was, though. But
see, I know of the franchise, but other than that, that's where it ends for me. I don't know much more beyond that. From what I understand, from what people are saying online, is that, like, while, yes, it's a new game in the Valkyrie franchise, it's like almost like a new take on the franchise. Yes. Is that correct?
Yes,
it
is.
Okay.
That's why at first, whenever it was going all through everything, I was just like, this is really odd. And then it said Valkyrie. I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, new take. Overall, pretty solid show. Mostly focusing on the Japanese publishers, of course. The one thing that I felt like, that I thought we would see there is at least something on Final Fantasy, but, that'll come out. Stranger's Paradise.
Well,
I
other
was about
Final
to say
Fantasy.
there was. Come on.
All right, sorry. Hold on. My bad. All right, short-term memory, I guess. The other Final Fantasy 16. But God knows when that's going to happen.
I mean, but we did get Giga Bash.
Yeah, missed that one. Yeah, Giga Bash. Yeah.
I have no interest in it. Do y'all have any interest in it? John?
No.
All right. I'm going to just go find an old copy of Rampage.
I like when I was looking back at the list of games, I saw that and I went, oh yeah, okay. I don't know why this is being made.
I loved the Rampage game that was like on like the PS2 era. I forgot what it was called.
Oh, I know which one.
Yeah. It was on PS2 and GameCube, right?
Yeah.
Because that there was like that Rampage game, and then I also remember there was also like Godzilla War of the Monsters or something like that same era. Both those games are awesome.
I actually found a copy of those on GameCube the other day.
Really?
Yeah.
How much was it?
It was on the cheaper. I think it was only like $15.
Ooh. That game is on my GameCube list of pickups, but it's on the lower end. But I still want it. That game on my list of GameCube games I still want would be like it was in like the same tier as like what Zatch Bell was, but I just happened to find Zatch Bell, so I picked it up. So that's kind of where Godzilla falls. But I do want Godzilla for the GameCube.
I haven't seen Godzilla. I was talking about the Rampage one.
Oh, okay. Still want that one too. It's still going to be on the lower end, but I still want it. $15 ain't bad though. Next up, let's talk about the Nvidia thing, man, because once again, like I already mentioned earlier, this is further proving to be like the biggest leak in gaming history. Like, and it's not close. It's not. From the list that we saw months ago, and now things are starting to get announced from that list, like very big notable franchise and titles. And now a new game console. Now, granted, we already knew it was happening. I mean, number one, realistically speaking, you know it's going to happen eventually. Nintendo's going to make the new console. Plus, they already confirmed in their investors meeting, we are working on the next console. So we already know that. But this actually put some hard, like, okay, yes, this is happening because they, whoever the hackers are, they released a picture showing different files, all referencing NVM2. Okay, now if you don't know what that is, NVM was like the code name, the processor, however you want to refer to it, for the Switch. Similar to like a DirectX, which I'm sure most people have heard of. That's more of the more common ones people have heard of. Well, the NVM, that was what the Switch was before the Switch got its title, the Switch. So this just further points towards this Switch 2 and all the different aspects that are going into it, like ray tracing supported, like 4K, stuff like that. So, I mean, like everything that kind of went into it, like it's pushing that, like, this is a massive step up from what we currently have.
You know what would be great? It's not a Switch 2. It's Labo 2.
No! God damn it, no.
It's Labo VR with cardboard.
No.
Ray tracing.
Yeah, they're going to... Nintendo's mindset is they're going to bring back the Virtual Boy basically with this, and they're going to really combat, the PSVR 2. That's actually what this is. Zach, you're onto something. Mark, write this down. But no, I mean, this is a hard step up from what obviously.
I mean, it really is based on the specs and everything we saw through the leak. So, I mean, ideally, whenever this comes out and everything, we won't have cloud anymore. Cloud games on Switch.
Please, God. These cloud games are garbage. No, and this isn't surprising, I think, to anyone, because like you look at Nintendo and their releases, you look at the cloud games they've started pushing just last year with no announcement, by the way. It just happened. It's like, oh, by the way, this game is coming to Switch, but it's gonna be a cloud. It's like, wait, what? It's almost like in the fine print.
This popular game? Hey.
Yeah, exactly. Like Nintendo is very aware of their limitations. I mean, dude, they're running on a 2015 chip right now. That's the problems. Like when it comes to some of these games that do come out on Switch in physical form, they come out so much later, right? We've seen that time and time again. I don't know why this is the first one that pops in my head, but Kakarot. Kakarot came out for everything at this time, and then it was like a year later before it came out to the Switch. I know one game that a lot of people are continuing to hammer for. It's like, when's it coming to Switch? When's it coming to Switch? Would be Tales of Arise. Okay, because I mean, a large majority of the Switch's sell base, of course, it's in Japan, right?
Yeah.
Okay, those JRPGs, like they need to be on the Switch because that's like That's what's in Japan primarily, is a lot of Switch users. So like, but a game like Tales of Arise, I'm sure John can attest for this, being
That
the only
game does not need to come to the Switch.
Exactly, because it just wouldn't run for shit. And the thing is also, we have seen, throughout like the Switch generation, developers flat out not wanting to put their games on the Switch because of how much of a issue it is getting it on the Switch.
They don't want their game to be run on Windows 98.
Bingo. Yeah, I mean, exactly. Which is also, Zach's not making that up. That's a legit thing. Their old online servers literally had a Windows 98 mode. Like, that was a thing.
Anything that came out with the previous multiplayer servers could also run on your Windows 98 PC.
Yes.
You still had that sucker running.
Yes, that is a fact. He is not making that up right now. That is a legit thing. That was a test. It was like some test thing Nintendo had where it could check to see if the games could run on Windows 98. It's just like, Jesus Christ, Nintendo.
Like Splatoon 2.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, Nintendo, like, while they've always tried to go, like, always throughout every generation in history, they've always been on like the lower end of like power and shit, and they always go for more like, I'd say like a more affordability, family friendly sort of thing where it's easy to get. They realize that, hey, we got to kind of change our mentality on this because we're missing out on a lot of good games that could very easily sell in our most popular market, and the cloud games eat ass. Like, their servers are dog shit. So, I mean, it's cool to see now that that, in my mind, like hard confirmed stuff for the most part. I mean, it's still like putting an asterisk beside it, but pretty much confirmed that, okay, yes, Nintendo is actually making the jump that they really should have already made. And I will say for titling, it's going to be called Switch 4K. Let's not, that's going to be what it is. Shut up, John.
Incorrect.
It's going to be Switch 4K.
It is the new Switch.
No, it's going to be Switch 4K. That's what it's going to be. Based on their titling history already with like the Switch OLED, the Switch, this is going to be Switch 4K. I'm putting money on it right now.
Based on their titling beforehand, do you remember the 3DS?
I know.
3DS.
I know. Yeah, the new 3DS, the new 3DSi, whatever it was.
The cloudless Switch.
The cloudless Switch. Oh, that'd be a dream come true. I just think it's going to be called the Switch 4K is all I think it's going to be called, just to the point. I mean, like with the OLED, I'm still personally very hard convinced that the OLED was actually supposed to be a Switch 4K revision. I'm very hard convinced on that, and they just didn't do it because of the chip shortages. I am hard convinced on that because the new dock that they put in with the OLED, which, the only thing that they changed on the surface was adding an Ethernet port, which they should have. All right, Nintendo, your first time in history having an Ethernet port. But also, like, just from teardowns and stuff, there are some components within that dock that support 4K, even though the console can't go up in 4K. So, I mean, I'm convinced that was actually supposed to be like a revision, like a mid-generation revision kind of thing, and they just didn't do it because of chip shortages that are going to continue for God knows how long. But I don't know. I mean, like I said, it is cool to see like this to see the specs on it and see the jump up that we're going to get. And I'm very excited to see what that's going to do for some pretty big franchises to come.
The only real concern here is that, yes, we've seen the specs. Yes, somebody's acknowledged it. My concern here is, how long do we actually see it? Like, will we actually see it here in the next year or two, or will it still be relevant? Or will it unfortunately get pushed back due to whatever reasons, and by the time it comes out, it's almost outdated?
See, that is a concern. That's a very legitimate concern.
I do not think year or two. I think based on the way Nintendo likes to announce things and how like the time it's taken them to like officially announce like, oh, like the OLED. It took them forever to even come out with a new screen for the Switch. So for them to officially announce a new console, I would say maybe a year and a half we get the announcement, like the official one.
Yeah.
That like, hey, this is happening, and then another year and a half from there is when it actually comes out.
And this is why I have my concern of whether this nice, actually capable system we're seeing will still be outdated when it finally comes out.
Yeah, and that's a very fair concern, especially with the chip shortages that we currently have and are going to be facing for quite some time. I think it's actually going to be announced and come out both next year. That's what I think is going to happen, and I actually think Breath of the Wild 2 is going to be a launch title. That's my current thoughts and predictions.
You also say Breath of the Wild is going to come out with everything.
No,
you've been.
Hold on. No, I can pull up the list. I already said Breath of the Wild 2 is going to be delayed this year. I already said that. That's on my prediction list. So I think Breath of the Wild 2 is going to be a launch title for the Switch 2 or Switch 4K, whatever. The new Switch. There you go, John.
Breath of Switch.
Breath of Switch. Breath of Fresh Switch.
That's going to be the bundle name.
All right, so we can hop over to Triangle Strategy now. New tactical RPG from Square. A lot of people actually really dig this game. John, I know you're kind of back and forth on it.
The least time put into it.
Yeah,
here.
I feel like I haven't actually. I know Zach, you've been playing it a lot from what I've seen, but I haven't talked to you about it, so I don't know your personal take on it yet. But for the most part, everything online is pretty damn positive about this game. How are we feeling on it, Zach? How are you feeling on it? Because like I said, I haven't had a chance to chat with you about it.
I mean, it's a solid tactics game, and story for the most part, what I've seen, at least the story I've tread through, has been very entertaining and well done. I did know the same thing y'all did in Discord. It just initially the voice acting sounds really off.
It's so bad.
The voice acting and the writing both are driving me fucking crazy.
I don't know about what story you're on. I mean, it is very one-dimensional.
Well, I'm still very much like in the early stages of the game. Like I haven't put that much time into it, but it's like I don't know. It's very simplistic writing.
Yeah.
And the voice acting, I think I told Alex, it almost seems like they had, like, for all the lines in the game, they booked like a week of studio time to get in the booth, and then everybody just kind of walked in and just read their lines. And like, at least of the characters I've interacted with, like one or two of them like went for it, and everybody else is just reading the script.
And that's what I was going to say. I really appreciate it for the people who put some time into it, like Gustadolf, like his voice actor. He put some time into his lines. I was just like, and I appreciate that versus like Sarah Noah, our MC.
I know.
He's very just cut.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
Same thing with Roland too.
It's very weird that like the voice acting, like the parts of the game where you're just walking around talking to people and there's not voice acting happening, seems more natural than when they're talking.
Yes.
That's the weird part for me.
Because honestly, I was surprised whenever there was voice acting, to be honest, because of this type of 2.5D and things like that. I'm used to there not being voice acting. So when they started talking, I was just like, what? And then when they started talking very monotone, I went, well, mute. Which is sad because the actual background soundtrack is actually very nice in most locations.
Yeah, across the board, the soundtrack's pretty solid. And, hammering more on the voice acting. Dude, this game would have been so much better without the voice acting. Because another beef that I personally had with it, and since you guys are both like on the same train with me, bro, I'm sorry, I can't help it. I feel like 80% of these characters, the voice does not go with the character, in my opinion. I'll pull up like the art after when they're talking, whatever. I'll look at the art while they're talking. I'm like, I cannot see you having that voice. I'm sorry. But just across the board, I'm just not a fan of it, the voice acting.
I mean, are you doing the English or Japanese?
I'm doing English.
Okay.
Yeah. John, were you doing English or Japanese?
I was doing English, and I'm assuming Zach was not doing English based off the look he gave.
Yeah.
I mean, I did English for the first moment, then I went into settings and went, oh, Japanese!
Honestly, I might. Is it any better?
Yeah, is it better?
For me, it is.
Well, I mean, just in general, does it sound better?
I might just switch to that.
To be honest, I haven't really paid too much attention to it because just because I'm so used to subs, I mean, I hear it, but I'm usually reading.
Okay. I don't know. I might give that a
honestly,
shot.
that might help where you're not distracted by having to listen to him talk.
Yeah. Now, I know one thing that I actually saw some people complain about, and I can hear the complaint, is they just felt like the game was like so hard focus on story and not many battles. Because there's times where it's like story. Like you keep going from like cutscene to cutscene, whatever. But like one of the driving points of the game that the game wants you to do is they want you to go to like the encampment stuff.
Yeah.
But like I guess a lot of people don't do that. So you see what I'm saying?
That makes the game a little rough.
Yeah, because all you're doing is just the story stuff, not going in camp. Because number one, it is making it seem like this game is pure story and no gameplay. And number two, your units are gonna be fucked.
They're gonna get fucked up.
Yeah,
because this AI doesn't mess around.
No, dude, this game's actually tough. I'm on normal mode in this game, and I don't even say it. I know you're on like some hard difficulty, but I've seen a lot of people even talk about it's just like, bro, I'm on normal. This game's kicking my ass.
I mean, I ran normal first playthrough because
Wait, first you already beat the game?
I mean, I'm almost there.
Oh, okay.
I think I am. I'm not sure. I'm on like chapter 10.
No.
Okay. You further on?
No. I just know there's 21 chapters.
Oh. Okay. Well, I'm halfway through my first story, so because I assuming the branchings are pretty hard branch.
That I don't know. All I know is chapter number. I don't know anything that happens. I didn't spoil myself. I just know chapter number.
Okay.
I didn't even look for that. I just came across it.
Because for games like this, I always, how hard is the AI going to go?
Right. Now, I will say one thing that is pretty dope to me about like the storytelling process is like I love that voting stuff, like the convo shit that you can do.
Yeah,
like,
the scales of conviction.
Dude, I think that is such a cool mechanic because like there is no fucking guarantee that you're gonna get the shit the way you want it to go. It is
really nice, and one thing you gotta for people jumping into and learning is that even though if you unlock the information, like the bonus to get that third option, that is not necessarily the correct option for you.
Yes.
So you really need to make sure you're listening to what the actual character is saying and sort of choose the option which would best actually pull them into your thinking and not just go, oh, unlock option.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I will say I was very confused by the first time the scales come out and you have to talk to everybody, because the thing that you say to people, the place you want to go to changes depending on who you're talking to.
Yeah.
You talk to one person and it's like, I want to go here. And you talk to the person next to him and it's like, I want to go to the other place that I just told them, not the place I just told them to go to.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, I'm like, what? How am I? What you want me to convince people to go somewhere and you won't even let me decide where I want to go? I don't know if I just missed something there.
I mean, I understood it when it came up.
I mean, the main thing is like wherever you want to go, you just want to convince the people that don't want to go there. Like you don't even have to talk to the people that want to go.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I found it weird that it was like, the option was like, I want to go here, but it was like,
oh, so you didn't fully recognize the first time that you were actually convincing them to go to the opposite choice of what they were wanting.
Was the choice at the top where they wanted to go? Because it reads like that's where you want to go.
Well, how it is, so you have the two choices. Everyone's head's underneath whichever choice is where they want to go. Whenever you go to talk to them, you're specifically trying to convince them to choose the other option.
I didn't understand that at all.
So, John,
I ended up going where I wanted to go, but I did on accident.
You're in a room full of people, and they all have differing opinions. You get to be the person who's like, your position's wrong. You should do this position.
Yeah.
And then there's Anne, who never has a fucking opinion.
Shout out to her. I like her.
Like
she's my best unit.
I had a conviction where she actually had an opinion. I was like, "Who are you, Anne? You're not Anne.
Who is this?"
Because that
was the one where Benedict was unsure.
Yes.
Yeah. I was like, oh, how the tables have turned.
Yeah, because Alex had sent me a picture or like a screenshot of him doing the scales of conviction for the first time, and he was like, all decisions in gaming need to be done this way.
No.
And I got there and I was talking to people.
Come on now.
I'm talking to people. I'm like, I don't understand this system at all.
I just thought all I said was I thought it was super cool. I thought it was a very interesting way to make the decision making.
I mean, it is.
Yeah, I thought it was super cool. And the thing that's really dope about it as well is there's so many different endings for the game, and depending on your choice is going to depend on your ending. So like Zach, depending on the choices that you've made, you may not get the best ending. There is a considered golden route, is what it's called.
Boo.
Yeah, there is considered a golden route that is considered the canon ending.
Boo.
But you have to do certain choices to get there.
I mean, at this point, I'm a freaking warmonger of virtue and honor, and anyone who's doing illegal shit, I put a blade through their chest.
I know I'm not getting the golden route. I don't know what all you have to do. I legit don't. I've tried to actually not spoil myself for once, but I do know that I already fucked up on one of the decisions.
I don't care. I'm just playing I got Tuxedo Night.
That's fair. My fuck up is that I burned all the houses.
Oh.
Yeah. Apparently you don't burn any of the houses. That's the correct option for the golden route. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, I burned that shit down.
What, just do that fight without burning the houses?
Yep.
Fuck, that's rough.
I know. That's why I was just like, damn, that must be a lot of grinding and encampment to be able to do that because she is fucking demonic. She is demonic, bro. That general, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I lured her up at the top one. I'm like, burn.
Yeah, no, I see a way of doing it. It just, that's a long fucking fight.
Yeah. So, I know. I just think it is super dope because there's multiple endings. It's not just like 3 or 4, and there's a lot of different endings you can get. So that is actually pretty dope. I mean, overall, I think the story isn't bad. I mean, it's interesting. It's just like, I guess like, maybe if I switch over to the Japanese dialogue, I'll be more invested in the characters.
I guess seeing as you mentioned the houses, you and me are on a similar route then.
Where did you go first? Which country?
Which did I do?
I went to the salt one.
I had 2 choices. I think on the one I'm currently, I went to Hyzant.
Yeah,
because I got my ice mage. Because
Yeah,
I was being a prick with that wall during that fight.
Oh, okay. I actually don't use him because I got Narv. Dude. I like Narv.
Narf is good, but Cornelius, his ice tomb ability is ridiculous.
I mean, I won't disagree with they are. They are pretty dope. I also like the merchant or the innkeeper. That I forgot her name, but she rides a horse.
Yeah.
I actually like her quite a bit as well.
She can't take a hit for me.
No, she definitely can't take a hit, but I do like what she brings to the table. But there were some other characters that I got that I thought were pretty cool, like the shaman chick.
Yeah, she's broken.
Yeah, dude, she's busted.
Her with Neff, make it rain, lightning.
Yeah, bro, busted. And that's also actually pretty dope. I like all the different mechanics they have into the actual to the actual game itself. I like with all the different elements and combinations that you can do. I think it's actually pretty solid. But I'm not gonna give like some official rating review for this game because I feel like I need to go play it in Japanese now because if I do that, I feel like I might be more invested in these characters because, bro, the voice acting is so bad. I feel so uninvested to some of these.
It is sort of rough.
Like, I cannot stand it because, I personally, like I said, every time a new character introduced or whatever, I pull up their little art picture describing who they are, and I'm just like, I cannot see you having this voice. Like the leader of the country for trade in Glenbrook. That dude who you could side with or betray you, whatever. The little short fat guy. The trade area, the trade country, the purple one. Because there's the purple one, there's yours of
the guy with the wine.
Yeah.
I had no idea he controlled trade. All I knew is he did fucking wine.
Like his English voice, bro, does not, and I mean does not fit for him at all. Like when I was hearing his voice, I'm just like, oh yeah, I can imagine what you may look like. And I pull it up, he's like some snarky little penguin looking motherfucker, and I'm like, oh yeah, this voice act, even all around, there's only a couple that are pretty solid. Who you pitched, our main antagonist,
yeah,
whatever.
Gustavo.
Yeah, he's pretty solid. But even also what you mentioned with our protagonist, Sarah Noah, it's just like, what are we doing, man? What are we doing, people? But I mean, maybe if I switch to Japanese, I'll feel a lot more invested to these characters.
See, now thinking about it, all the fun stuff to do that fight with, I would need the guy you get from going to the Duchy instead of Iceman. Because if you go to the duchy, you get a hunter who can set bear traps and has a longbow.
Ooh. Is it an old man?
No, it's a younger guy.
Because I got the old man. Have you gotten him? The old man archer?
No, he dead as fuck.
Oh, okay. I got the old man archer.
He dead as fuck.
Yeah, I just got the old man archer. Rip old man archer for you. I forgot his name, but I just got him.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah.
I was like, well, so much for that.
But John, this is a game that's not really grabbing you at all. Do you think it's just because of the voice acting and stuff, or is there more? Well, it's also Lost Ark. We're gonna go ahead and establish that.
I was gonna say it's Lost Ark.
Okay,
that's what's making it not grab me.
Okay.
Because I sit down to play it and I start playing it, and then I just look over. I go play Lost Ark.
I just see John going.
I literally do that. Like, I see my Steam page with Lost Ark up, and I just look over and I go, I could go do that instead.
Yeah, I see it now. John just sitting there, just like, it just fucking throws the controller over to the side.
It's pretty accurate, to be honest.
I just picture. Hey, baby, Lost Ark's over here. We got a March update. Are you ready?
I'm curious what's going to be the next game to come out that will actually pull John away from Lost Ark.
Digimon Survive.
That game doesn't exist. I don't know what you're talking about.
When it shows up and it exists, it'll pull him away from Lost Ark.
Okay, yeah, that's true. If it's real and it comes out, that might be the one game to pull John away. John, is there any titles coming out?
I'm only like 150 hours into Lost Ark. Who knows where I'll be at 300? Maybe by that point I'll be open for something else.
At that point, I assume you have a full roster of level 50s.
Yeah.
I have 350s right now.
That's not a full roster.
No, but I have another one that I'm gonna it's gonna boost here tonight.
Which is good, which means by 300 hours you will have a full roster of 50s.
Oh yeah. What?
I mean, there was no debate here.
I just was like one of the last things I'll throw out. One thing I also really like is I really like all the classes and stuff for each character having like their own thing and their own things that they can specifically be good at.
And Anne becomes Ezio.
Yeah, dude.
Anne's broken.
Dude, I love Anne. She's fantastic. No, like I do like all the class stuff for all the characters. I actually think that's super cool. I'm personally really enjoying it. Do we want to just kind of give like last thoughts on Truck and Strategy in terms of like go pick it up, wait for a sale, kind of a rating, early rating sort of vibe? How you feeling?
I mean, for me personally, I would say if you enjoy grid strategy games and have nothing against grinding, I'd say go ahead and pick it up. If you're unsure about it still, play the demo. That
is true. It's like a 5-hour demo. You can just play the demo, and it carries over.
Yeah, you'll get to experience, sort of get the start of the story and experience several fights. So,
yep, John, I know you probably don't have a high opinion at the moment. You're still figuring it out yourself.
I'm looking forward to actually sitting down and playing it.
Okay, there you go. I would say I'm going to side with Zach on this one, where it's like if you're fine with grinding, pick it up. But if you like playing like these sort of games, but like don't like the hardcore mega grind, then I wouldn't get this one, because this one is a lot of grind. Because seriously, if you don't go to the encampment stuff, you're going to get fucked
on normal mode.
Yeah,
it does have 2 difficulties underneath it where you could probably just breeze through.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. And that's the thing as well. I want to further stress, like, if you don't go do some encampment stuff, you're going to feel like this game is literally nonstop story with a battle every once in a while. Like, go do encampment stuff, which also gives you a chance to like talk to your other units and shit. Like,
see, I got sad because I did encampment stuff too much, and then I realized, I'm only getting 2 XP per hit.
Damn it!
I guess I'll continue story.
So that way you can get more battles to unlock and go grind on. But I think that'll wrap up for the episode because I am pretty hungry. John and I did a lot of work at their house today, and I am a hungry boy right now. What's for dinner, boys? What are we having tonight?
Chinese.
Ooh, sounds good. What about you, John?
Leftover spaghetti. I don't know how to cook for one person.
I relate to that.
I've been eating spaghetti for 5 days.
Oh my God, John. That's how much spaghetti did you cook?
You don't know how to cook enough for 2
Enough
people.
for a family of 4 to eat for a week.
That's a lot of spaghetti.
I mean, thank God he likes spaghetti.
Yeah.
It sounded good at the time.
Jesus Christ.
Sounds less good now, but
I don't know what I'll have. I don't know. We'll see. I'll either order something or just it'll be something out of the freezer until I can get to the store. So we'll see. But yeah, overall, pretty solid episode. Last thoughts, boys. I'll hit the music. We'll get ourselves out of here.
Alrighty. Well, if you've gotten this far, like, comment, subscribe, rate, whatever your platform allows. It does help. If you are watching the video and like what's going on, youtube.com/sparky3, you can hit the subscribe button to follow us. And then you can also hit that bell if you actually want to know when anything actually goes up. Yeah, I'm going to hope. Thank you.
yeah, like you said, thank you for if you made it all the way through the episode, and hopefully you'll, break next week, but hopefully you'll join us again for the next episode.
Where we're going to talk about Kirby Mouthful Mode.
Oh, God.
And fishing.
And John's just like, all right, guys, I think I'm going to take a break from that one. I'm going to play Lost Ark. Fuck you guys. But yeah, do everything they said and more. Of course, make sure to sign up to the website for free. If you haven't signed up, I don't know why, it is free. Or you can sign up for $5 a month if you're feeling generous. For the premium tier, get early access to podcast episodes as well as a few other cool perks. Once again, promo code AniMan at sparky3shop.com to celebrate AniMan's return. And make sure to go check out that episode. If you're an anime fan, if you're a manga fan, that is a really dope episode to listen to. I think Zach and I did very well on that one. Join the Discord. Check out the socials. Is that it? I think that's everything, right?
Did you hit the shop? Yeah, you hit the shop.
Yeah. The promo code runs to the 19th. So
Discord?
Yeah, Discord down below. Join that. I think that's everything.
All right.
I think we get it. So, yeah. All right. Yeah, break next week unless something insanely awesome happens this week. Then we may do a short episode, but probably still going to do a break, so we will be back the week after to talk about Kirby Mouthful Mode. Let's go. Squirtle, Squirtle. All right, guys. Have a good one. See you next time.
Bye.
See ya.